Yo, what is going on, guys? Aspect Gaming once again in GTNH, and today is a very special episode. It is episode number 50, Big 50. So we're gonna take a little bit of a break and we're gonna do a base tour. So I think it's been a while since most people have seen my entire base kind of laid out in one episode. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about my philosophy about base building for a little bit, and I guess expectations, where we're gonna go with this, new goals, stuff like that. So yeah, this base has gotten pretty large. The hardest thing for me in Greg Tech, honestly, is designing the base. And I want to design a place that's cool to live in. So my philosophy with this was, as you see by staff of traveling, I have a control room here, and then different areas in the north, east, and then the west, but that got renamed to Orproc at some point, whatever. You get the idea. But the main idea is that in the center control room here, I want this to be a pretty cool space to just hang out in and live in. And I think it's pretty neat. I love the great wood. I love the abyssal block combo. The pillars look great. I have little cubbies where I have like random stuff stored. I enjoy this area a lot. But one thing I didn't really anticipate was how amazing this universal wireless terminal is. So I kind of lost the purpose of this room, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. At some point, my terminals all lived here, like all my different ME terminals. But now things are a bit different, and anywhere can be the control room because I could just fly around and press my terminal button, which is Q, and then it just pops up for you. So that changed a little bit. It's still, I do still enjoy just like sitting in here to wait for crafts or like dilly dally. I have my research machine here, which is going to go away soon, honestly, but I need to rethink the control room idea a little bit. It definitely helped up to IV, LUV sort of area, but once I got this universal wireless terminal, it went away. So now the whole base is kind of the control room, which is a problem because the philosophy with this base is that the northern part is going to be the lawn base. And I'm struggling with that concept. And as you can see, I've done a pretty radical change here in between episodes. I got really tired of the roof existing, so I just deleted it. And we're going to make a much bigger, taller roof, probably made of glass at some point. But I'm not worried about that right now. I have rain off in this dimension right now. And there's no reason to turn it back on for a long time. So we'll leave the machines out like this for a little while. But yeah, the lawn base is honestly kind of necessary in my opinion. Otherwise, I will not progress like ever because I have to just constantly build rooms so I'm not lawn basing. So, it is what it is. That's what you get. I have some small ideas to maybe make it more interesting. Like these pillars are kind of a concept that I was starting on but didn't finish on. But we have a lot of time to invest in that to figure it out, by the way. Because we're entering the UV tab. We have a long ways to go still. And these are not short chapters, I believe. Like they look short, but that is not even it's probably gonna take me like as long to get to the end as it did to get here so far. Probably even longer than that. And on that topic, let's take a look at how long it's been. So minutes played, 981 hours. Yeah, not bad at all. And I started it in like October on this world, which is kind of insane. But it happens sometimes. That's what happens when you're having fun. Time flies. And then the other tab is time actively playing. I turned the AFK timer off at some point. I don't know if that impacted this, but I feel like I AFK'd more than this because I spent a lot of time distracted or waiting for materials to process. Nowadays, I feel active constantly. I'm always working on something, multitasking somewhere. But that's beside the point. So where's a good point to start here? I guess the power gen, because this is kind of the difficult part for me, where how do you transfer power to such a massive area? And figuring out a good design for a power spine was something that was quite difficult for me. But once I solved that, a lot of pieces started falling into place. So down here, these are my nuclear reactors. The ones I'm currently using are the core, which is a pretty OP fuel cell, which has a ton of, like a huge amount of energy output. It's almost 5 million EU per tick. But to make it, you need Tiberium, and we get Tiberium from meteors because there's not many ways to get it. So we constructed a meteor mining apparatus, which we'll see later on. Yeah, this is the best design in general. You're going to copy paste this design for like every tier pretty much. Just swapping out different coolant cells or different fuel cells. Actually, I have an old one over here. This is from Mox. This is what I was using for a very long time. I believe from like the end of EV, early IV, up till like start of ZPM. These make, what is it, like 125,000, something like that, EU per tick. And these get stronger. They create more power the higher the core temperature is. So it's the maximum core temperature to the point where it hurts me and it produces fire around the reactor, which is very nice. So those are out of commission now. This is just a spam area of Mox fuel rods. These singleton chambers were mostly for like figuring out the process, and with enough reliability testing, I was able to prove that I could set these up for like 1,000 hours or whatever. Then I went into this one, which is a much riskier setup, but was quicker to set up, and therefore I know these are not going to explode because I've tested the other ones for so long that it is impossible. Now, I use Steve's Factory Manager for my management of coolant and fuel cells, or fuel rods rather. I found this to be very reliable. I've only had a few incidents with the core, but those were all related to improper configs in the setup itself. So I've never had a server restart explosion. I haven't had any lag explosions as far as I could tell. I don't think my Mox reactors have ever exploded, to be honest, not even once. But yeah, the system is very good. This I pulled from the GTNH Discord. There is a page on the flowcharts, a post in the flowcharts section, which defines a Steve's Factory Manager nuclear reactor setup. It is very good. I've mentioned it many times in my videos, so if you are interested in that, go for it and copy it. Maybe one day. I do plan on making a vac nuke video of my own, which highlights this, but that won't be for a little bit probably, because I have other videos to make first. This is out of commission. These are my old vacuum freezers. They cool down the coolants. I now use a Megavac down here, and it works pretty well. So the power comes out of the reactors right now into this 4x SuperCon ZPM wire. This is going to change soon, but below ZPM, this is how you're going to do it. A wire directly into your Lapotronic supercapacitor. So this is just, imagine if you're in a lower tier, a battery box, and then you have a little control circuit on here where the energy detector cover is able to turn it on when it needs to be turned on, basically. So that's how we're making power. And then on the output side over here, I have a huge power spine, which is a 16x HSSS cable. This is going to get dismantled soon as well. I did HSSS because it was relatively affordable for me at the time. It's a good material. The voltage goes up to 2 million, which is UHV, which is much more than I needed for my tier, but I wanted to future-proof a little bit. So yeah, we're currently running ZPM through this. I could have ran UV and used more transformers, but I decided to just max out ZPM because I'm going to be switching to lasers anyways, so this is going to get destroyed and replaced very soon anyways. So yeah, that worked out pretty well for me. I have a central like line here going down, and then it branches off every now and then to this like grid-like pattern, which goes to my multi-blocks. And now for the multis area. This is for the most part just multi-spam. I just threw down, you gotta just throw them down. In like IV, LUV era, you can't really plan ahead to do things in a way that's sustainable with these. Just throw the multis down, get one down, get a whole bunch of interfaces on it, and that's all you gotta do really. So these are just spam down, no real thought about it. But pretty soon we have to upgrade these and start making like arrays of them that is much more efficient. An extension of the multis area is my universal area. This is what blew the game like wide open for me. A very common problem for me was like dealing with this mental block where it's like, I gotta have how many LCRs, I gotta have how many mixers, stuff like that, you know? But this for me just blew the game wide open. It's an amazing system. The gist of what goes on here is that I have different ME drives with storage cells in them that have circuits in them. And then I insert items through my mainnet ME interfaces into a subnet with a advanced blocking card and then blocking mode on this, which will allow this to see in this subnet and say, are there items? No, I'll send my items in. If there are items, I will not send in. So what this is doing is creating storage cells. They're going to be filtered out by item conduits. So once there's items in here, this gets seen by the extraction blacklist. So it'll get pulled out of the drive and sent round robin to one of these tiny chests. So these chests then supply this machinery, this redstone circuit, with a pattern. This timer is constantly checking this item importer. It will send the pattern down to the ME IO port. The IO port will transfer to the network of the subnetwork, inserting the items. The fluids are stored as items in this case, so we need a packet decoder. The fluids get decoded, and then the fluids go to the input bus, or the fluids go to the input hatch, and the items go to the input bus. And then it works out perfectly. Some upgrades you can make to these always is bigger buses, bigger hatches, and you kind of just got to constantly keep up with that, keep upgrading your patterns and stuff like that. These not only go very quickly, but it parallels it as well. So because I'm able to use every circuit for just 4 mixers, I'm able to like super invest in these mixers and overclock them in a way that you're not usually able to. So if you have a dedicated mixer for like a bunch of recipes that aren't used very often, you kind of lose out on that mixer with your recipes that are used very often. But now that I have 4 mixers that can handle any recipe, very common recipes get split across all 4. So I hope that makes sense of why Universal is so good. But yeah, it's just super OP. You'll get it. If you play this game a lot, you get why I enjoyed so much. I don't really see the arguments against it. So we've invested very heavily in those setups. I have assemblers here. These are the presses. I forget what they're even called, but they do all my assembling recipes. I have tons of them. And yeah, same idea here. I want to add 2 more presses at some point, but I could do that whenever. But for now, I've been just kind of going towards putting more energy into these 2. Haven't seen many bottlenecks with that yet. This is my universal fluid solidifier. This is a switch that I made in LUV. I went away from extruders and I went into the fluid shaper. This thing is amazing. One of the best multis. I only have 1 of them right now, and it's still so much faster than anything I could have imagined. So imagine when I have like 8 of them. It's going to feel great. The only thing you got to consider is that these actually have a warm-up time. So these get faster as they go. And I don't know exactly how long it is. Maybe like 30 seconds, something like that. Don't quote me. But it takes a little bit to warm up. But once it does, man, these things get rolling. They go so quick. And if you don't want to make too many of them, just because they might not speed up, they might be sending like one-off recipes to them at a time. So it's a balance of making enough of them, but not too many, you know? So maybe I make like 2 or 3 and see how it goes, see if it's a bottleneck, and slowly build up from there. Another universal setup is over here. These are kind of my more permanent setups at this point now, stuff that I think things that I think I'm never going to destroy. These are my mega chemical reactors. These used to be just regular LCRs, but now these are a much bigger setup that can handle a much larger amount of fluids and much, much faster as well, with also consuming a ton more power. And about to be even more than that. We only do 4 amps of ZPM. It's kind of weak, to be honest with you. But yeah, all my LCR recipes are in here. I handle all my fluids this way. A lot of cool stuff here. I make my circuit boards here. Pretty soon we'll make these in a PCB factory, but for now we do them in here, and they're very quick. But yeah, very nice. Next up, these are my assembly lines. I just made this last episode. I haven't really used them very much yet, but it's a setup that is able to parallelize assembly lines using AE2. So I'm using a special dual interface P2P, which is allowing these dual interfaces to sort of exist in multiple places at one time. So these are copied all across the top line here, and each line's copied like that. And then similar properties apply here as the do it universal, where I have advanced blocking cards on these interfaces. Therefore, it's able to tell if there's items in the assembly line or not. Pretty soon, I'll probably upgrade these to advanced assembly lines so they can parallel better. But right now, we're going to use the regular ones, and I need to understand better what the advanced assembly lines are used for. So moving to the center over here now, I kind of forgot to touch on this, but this is my AE2 network. This is my main controller. This guy has all my channels that supply all my different multi-blocks and the rest of my base. Now, watch your eyes. I'm going to use the network tool. This is what's going on with the network right now. It's pretty much full. This is the first face of the controller. There's a lot more room left to go, as you can see. I have a lot more faces that aren't filled in yet, and it's going to fill this whole cube eventually. But that'll be a little while. I don't need that many channels probably, based on my current usage rate. I could probably get away with like 2,000 to 3,000. I forget how many this design is going to have in the end, but it's a lot more than that, so we'll be good. This is my carrier network. This kind of just carries signals for P2P networks. So as you can see, this has 25, this is 14, and that's just a line that has the P2P tunnels on them and not much else. So yeah, at some point we'll add more wireless to this. The wireless is a lot better than I thought it was. I thought the wireless was much more expensive, but it really isn't. Like, it doesn't use that much AE per tick. So yeah, if you can afford them, go for them for sure. They make things easier, make your wires simpler, and make it look cooler. What else is over here? These are my level emitters, my level maintainers. These things are OP and carried me a lot so far. I believe they're being nerfed heavily. I'm not exactly sure how, but yeah, whenever something is difficult to make, I just put it in this and I make them maintain a lot of them. So like The crystal processing units take forever for me to make. Let's add a 0. Let's just add a 0 to it. And then in a couple days, it'll be full. And the problem will be kicked down the road, which is what we like to do out here. No, that's a joke. We're kidding. But it helps you deal with a lot of issues that are slow. I have work and I have to sleep. So that's like 18 hours of my day pretty much, almost like 16 hours that are spent not playing this game. So that's a great time to work on crafts. So yeah, I highly recommend these. If they do get nerfed, there's an open computers version of it. I dislike copying people's open computers networks because like it doesn't feel like I really solved the problem, but you are your own person and you can make that decision for yourself. So now in this room over here, these are my flatline things. This is like a miscellaneous EBF at this point. It does like random one-off recipes that I didn't want to send to the Vulcanize. This will probably be gone very soon. This is my singular dangote that does osmium. Kind of a problem that it's only one dangote, to be honest. It should be 4. Or it should be a mega distillation tower that has a lot more power to it. Yeah, this quad Vulcanus handles all my flatline materials I want to do. It probably doesn't need to be a quad Vulcanus running at like ZPM, but you know it is, so it's okay. It happens. You overkill things. This is my old ore processing room. It's going to become a trophy room pretty soon, or like a monument or a landmark room. So this is a work in progress as well. I still have some old ores in here, which is kind of funny. Over here through the window, you can see this is my ore processing. I went a little bit overboard with this as well. My bottleneck, I think, is still maceration, but we could just easily add more industrial and maceration stacks. I rarely use anything but these 3 machines. So the centrifuges, the washers, and the maceration stack. The washers are a bit of an extra part. What you could do for most materials is just double crush it and then centrifuge it. That's probably simpler and an easier solution, but I liked a lot of the byproducts from ore washing, so I did ore washing. So these are quite slow, but if you just build a lot of them, it's not a big deal. And now that I know how to use matter manipulator, it's even less of a big deal. So we will continue with that until I deem it unnecessary. These are rarely used. Some specific materials go to these. I will show you my filtering, but you need to specify to send anything this way. And if you do, it's probably like a one-off material. So I think the electrolyzer sees quite a bit. We'll go look at it. So over here, we're going to do ore processing. This is my ore filtering system. This is a design by somebody named Ivylu, who she designed a lot of really cool stuff that's in my base. Was one of the original designers of a lot of different things. Especially, she did a lot of work on vacuum nukes, not what I used, but research that helped me determine what I thought was the best. But yeah, over here, every different unit operation has its own subnetwork, basically. Let's see if this is helpful at all. I don't know if it will be. Yeah, a little bit, not really. This is the sorting network. This is what's interfacing with the storage and also with each of the subnetworks. So these all have a storage bus, which acts as a little filter. So if I want to send something specifically to a subnet, add it to the storage bus filter. And then these are priority 0. So this whole line is priority 0. The next line up is your default route. So whatever you want it to be the default route, you set the storage bus with a ore dictionary filter card. You can add to that whatever you need. In this case, I'm sending crushed centrifuge, purified, all ores, raw ores, and I don't send oil sands or black granite oil sands into it. And then this is the maceration setup. So once it goes through there, we're gonna go to the washer because I want all of my crushed ore and crushed purified, and I have another one crushed centrifuge goes into there, and then the centrifuge is taking the purified dust. So dust pure and dust impure, if I have any, go into there. And then from there, some things get filtered specifically to the smelter or the electrolyzer. The smelter is kind of becoming obsoleted, to be honest. I don't need this very often, but I don't know, it's still here. I guess it's helpful to convert some of these more useless dusts, like siderite sand or roasted nickel, into their more useful ingot forms, which I can just remacerate at a later point. The other cool stuff, I can specifically filter for the outbound or up here. So I have like purified galena, purified lepidolite, purified sphalerite going after there. And these are used for indium, of course. I forget what the sphalerite is for, or the lepidolite is for. Probably something important at some point, but I don't remember what it was. It's alright, it happens sometimes. This is another outgoing bus. This is ingots, dust, gems. And then don't send these things out. Okay, I see. And once they're in the outbound network, there is a separate ME drive here. This is set to extract with a redstone signal anything that has items into it. So I kind of put it on a delay where I don't want it to be constantly dragging back and forth super fast, you know? I want it to sort of calmly take the cell out, take its contents out, return it casually, you know? Like I don't want it to be flickering items back and forth. So that's what this is for. And this goes to the main net, of course. Next to the ore filtering is my meteor setup. As you can see, I have the leftovers of a meteor that was too large down here still. We're going to summon one real quick. I'm going to hope that it doesn't summon a second meteor as part of auto crafting, but I want to demonstrate how this works. So once you call for a meteor, they fall down, land on a warded block in the center, and then they get mined up by these arcane boars, which is a really awesome setup. Is my favorite part of the base and is really, really cool. So these things are pretty OP. There's a lot of cool skips you could do because of these, or just like ways you can get materials that are very good at a time that you typically don't. So this was grindy to get, very grindy. Each of these has a efficiency 45, unbreaking 10. No, it's unbreaking 20 void pickaxe, and a wand focus excavation with potency 3 and large 2. If you know what it takes to get those, it took a while. It took a little bit of quite a while. A little bit of grinding. That's what we enjoy. And then while we're here, this is the water line, work in progress. Just kind of threw the stuff down. This will be more interesting later on. This is my witchery area. Just simple little thing to get me by. Get me some potions of the shifting season and not much else. I feel like witchery is quite underdeveloped in this. There may be some things in the mod that I don't understand that can be cool, but I feel like it's unnecessary. This is the blood magic room. I've reached a point in blood magic where I am satisfied with it. I don't need further upgrades for the most part, but I'm not fully optimized. These are my crafting altars. This one is a tier 4 altar. This one's a tier 5 altar only. And I feel like I'm at the end of blood magic. Like I've effectively finished it. So what happens here is items get inserted into the altar by a interface, and they get pulled out by a big item filter conduit on extract. So it filters out the outputs. Same idea over here. You want to stagger the slates. So like reinforced slates are tier 2. This is the odd altar. No, this is the even altar. This is the odd altar. So the odd slates go to this one, and the even ones go over to here. So yeah, and then like miscellaneous stuff just goes wherever. It doesn't really matter. And then whenever there's items in here, these P2Ps on this, not those ones, this one, on this subnet is basically just, actually not a P2P, my bad. It is a storage bus. This is a storage bus with a level emitter with nothing in it, with one item in it. So if it sees an item in here at all, it will activate my advanced world accelerator and speed these up gigafast. So that's pretty cool. This is the best way to do it. You don't need speed runes at all. So like you don't even need to go beyond a tier 4 altar. So I have like a couple speed runes that was just still there from the early game. They don't matter at all. What actually matters in my case are these runes of acceleration, as they allow the blood to enter the altar at a faster rate from my blood collection altar. So this guy's a whole bunch of runes of dislocation, some capacity runes, some sacrifice runes. Could probably be given some more sacrifice runes, whatever. The main limitation here is how fast I could pull out blood from this. And we're already maxed out acceleration runes. And then I believe these help as well, dislocation runes, but I'm blanking on what they do exactly. But yeah, what this does, this is the altar that creates the LP for my altars in my soul network. But this is an EEC, Extreme Entity Crusher. I'm using guards in here. These are from Witchery. These are like, let me press U on this. These are guys that you find at villages, and they are just villagers. They give you a lot of LP. And then, yeah, you build a ritual of, oh man, what's it called? The Well of Suffering above it, and you activate it, and it binds to the Greg Tech machine, which is really cool. It barely uses, like, any power, to be honest, so it's not a big deal at all. And yeah, it's pretty nice. So we pull liquid out of this altar right now with a stellar ender fluid conduit. There may be a better way. I'm not aware of it at the moment, but that's how we pull out the fluid. It goes to my super tank, and then from there we have a ZPM pump, which pushes it into a fluid P2P. I chose a fluid P2P because these have unlimited throughput, so the throughput's only limited by the pump tier that I have. So this will be a UV pump pretty soon, and then we'll be draining this tank very quickly. It also requires a storage bus because some recipes require life essence and a cutting machine, which is annoying, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's that. There's other cool things here. Go watch the episodes on Blood Magic if you want to see them. This is my Enchantress's ritual. This is how I made my like super high enchantment books. This book bugged out. You're not supposed to leave them in there for a long time. Oh, okay, it came around. But this thing's bugged sometimes. Not sometimes, but I know why it does it. If you have the rain turned off in the personal dimension, this will not work. So next time I want to use this, this has to get moved to the overworld, or I have to finish the roof on my multi-block area. Probably will move it before I finish that roof. Now into Thmcraft. Don't worry about this. This is a legit book copying setup. If you want to know what this is, go onto the GTNH Discord and search up something like Fortune 3 book copying with a golem, and you'll find it there. It's in the tips and tricks page, I believe. Tips and tricks like forum. But if you're interested in this, I have a video on it as well. But this is my Thmcraft. This is my automatic altar with speed boosting. What goes on here is a interface from the mainnet deposits recipes into the subnet, which controls the altar. These are storage buses with differing priorities, so it sends one item each into all of them, and it sort of separates them in a way that's symmetrical for the most part. And then it runs the altar. I have a bajillion of this, why is it unnamed? Of this ancient cobblestone slabs down here. These are infusion providers, or it's infusion stabilizers, not providers, and they make it super stable. There are some problems where occasionally if a recipe's messed up, by accelerating this, it makes the recipe get super unstable, super fast. So that's why I sometimes have some flux to scrub in here, but scrubbing flux is not a bad thing. You have to do it sometimes. My altar, of course, has an infusion interceptor in the bottom down here. Oh, I didn't mean to break it. That broke very quickly. This is an infusion interceptor and a Ascension provider. This instantly provides all the different Essentia that you need for your infusion craft. Super, super quick with that. I love that. And yeah, from there it runs. We currently still kind of manually extract the items. There's probably a better way to do this, but I have a export bus from the subnet onto the mainnet. Yeah, there's probably better ways to do this. Don't really copy me with this one. Think of a better way. But once the recipe is done, it exports into the mainnet. Okay, so I also have a V relay here. This goes to my infusion claw. This is what allows it to like click on the runic matrix. This is just Digissentia. It's a little bit hard to explain, but it's just P2Ps, but with Essentia. You need to have a memory card that has just store a memory card that has your DigiV source on it, and you can use that whenever you need to do a V relay. If you're interested in more info on this, I have a video, multiple videos that are just on Thmcraft in GTNH and like Thmic Energistics. But yeah, this is my node up here. I made a super node that was quite large. This is done really, really well for me so far. 123 and everything was pretty good. I made a super node over, the area is gone now, but I used an Eldritch Guardian. Let's look it up. That doesn't work how I thought it would. But I used an Eldritch Guardian to accrue a pretty large node on an ethereal shard. So I used the two different the two different ethereal essences that the guy dropped, clicked them onto ethereal shards with an auto clicker, and waited overnight, and it made a gigantic node, which is really fun. So that's pretty good. Other stuff over here, these are my vomitoriums. These are recipes that I use semi-frequently go into here. This turns on manually currently. It doesn't have to be manual. I could use a remote comparator, but I just do it manually right now. And Essentia provider again, that just sends us the Essentia that it needs. I still manually craft my Essentia. That's because I have a world accelerated advanced chemical furnace and I don't have bees yet. But this thing works great. Just drop like a million items in, and then you'll be happy later. So that's that. This is my old tantalum duper. I don't use tantalum anymore, but this still exists. It could probably be torn down and made into a second thaumatorium like this one for more recipes, but I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of done with Thmcraft. Like I did all the stuff that was helpful. I got my boots. I got my cool armor. Yeah, pretty good. This is the Britannia setup. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I didn't do very much Britannia. Over here is my EIGs and EECs. The EIGs, the greenhouses, obviously grow crops. So these have cool control circuits in the back of them. These are 3 different level emitters, 3 different materials that are on the subnetwork of the passive area. So it's a smaller subnet. It's best practice to keep level emitters on a smaller net like this. But yeah, when all 3 conditions are met, it turns off. So these all kind of have conditions like that. These are all running right. A lot of these are running right now. I don't really know why, but it is what it is. I think the gas is running because I just told it to run forever, but it's okay. What is this one? Oh yeah, Swede. Okay. This is one I put up recently. The Swede is really good because it gives you sugar, which gives you oxygen, which is OP. But yeah, these fill up pretty quickly. I have a lot of 1024Ks that are completely full from this, which is nice. I get a lot of items, but it's annoying to have to keep doing it constantly. If you were to do it, maybe make like a ton of quantum chests or something. I don't know. But for now, we'll just keep adding drives. I don't really care. And these are the machines that process the stuff from that area. Disorganized, kind of a mess. You could do better than this. This is a setup I used from like maybe like LUV. That's kind of it, to be honest. This made me a ton of oxygen. It kind of fell off though. It was good for the time, but it fell off pretty quickly. So we use the EIG with Swede now. Yeah, what else is left? I guess I have this underground area. This is just to prevent myself from falling into the void, I guess. My mega area. These are my megavacs. This is my mega distillation tower. This makes distilled water. It power filled sometimes, which is a bit annoying, but because of that, how's my hydrogen doing? Oh, it's fine. How's my distilled water doing? A little bit low. Okay. I don't know why. Occasionally it's power fails on me. I don't know why. Maybe just like the cable loss from the LUV cable. I don't know. I should be able to handle it. It's a mystery to me. But I think that's it. Let me just think. I guess this side of the base, I didn't cover this. These are the different lines that I have. So this is NAC line. This will be upgraded very significantly. I over-engineered a control circuit for this. Unnecessary. I mean, it like saves some power when this is off, but it's unnecessary. It's a small amount compared to everything else. This is a small samarium line. I don't use it very often, but whenever I need some samarium, it charges. I charge it, and then it runs for a while. How am I doing on samarium right now? Yeah, 16 mil. We're good. We're pretty good. What's that? What's 16 million divided by 144? 111,000. So that'll last me for quite a while. But it's probably not enough knowing this game, so it is what it is. This is my donut ring. These are all my different fusion reactors. These should be running right now. Let me ask it to make some more americium. Okay. If it doesn't have enough lutetium, it makes it from a meteor, which is awesome, an OP. So the meteors are really worth it. And I'm also going to get another OP meteor soon with the, oh man, what's it called? I'll just look up americium ore. This is a advanced crop synthesizer UV. It takes a bunch of americium, obviously, to make. I believe I have enough right now. I'm just kind of waiting for an episode to start UV. But yeah, once you make this guy, you get 700 americium ore. If you expand the radius, you'll get a lot more. And also, this is an end ore. I didn't notice this at first, but end ores are 4x output. So this is going to give you like a ton of raw ore, which all gets doubled. Like it's going to cascade down to a lot of americium dust. So that will be fun to do. That will break open UV for the most part, because with americium, we can do a lot of cool stuff. And yeah, it's kind of it. Vulcanized over here. These are all my blast furnaces. They are all on a subnet with stocking input buses. Program circuits in the stocking input bus, a little bit cursed, but you know what happens. This is my alloy blast smelter. I should probably make more of these, but you know, shit happens. And then, yeah, I think that's actually it this time. That's the whole base, which is pretty cool. I lied, there's one more thing. My storage area. So I have these huge arrays of cells are being put up here. These are all 1024Ks and just huge drive walls. These are pretty cool setups, actually. It's like subnetted out in a way where I'm using one channel for 32, 64, like just a bajillion storage drives. So yeah, that's how we're doing that. Same goes on the other side, but for fluids and Essentia is up here, I believe. Pretty simple. And then I believe this wirelessly comes from over there, as you can see. So yeah, best way to do your storage is like this. Don't put it on your main net per se, put it on a storage subnet. And then this is so easily expandable. I feel like this will probably last me the whole game. If it doesn't, we'll just add another layer vertically upwards. And if it doesn't, we'll add another layer. Like, just keep going like that. So that should last me forever. And with that, that's the whole base. Long time spent in here so far. Gonna be even longer time. So gotta make the most of it. Hopefully we can figure out some more design strategies to make it look cooler. But I don't know. There is a battle between laziness, a battle between having enough time to get episodes out consistently. It is a fight against my capacity as a player. It's like I'm not necessarily an incredible builder, but like I have my color palette. I enjoy it. I have the blocks that I like. Let me be happy. Don't criticize. So yeah, we'll do our best, and that's what matters, you know? So yeah, we'll keep playing. The new goal for the series is legitimately Stargate. I feel like if I made it this far, I can make it to the end. So that is the new goal. We're going to get the Stargate. Until next time, guys, thank you all for watching, and you should have a good day.